Hello friends, today we are going to learn how to change the basic movement animations in the TrueFGE fighting game. And in the next video we will learn how to add new attacks and attack combos. When you press a combination of keys on your keyboard or gamepad and the fighter performs a combo. So, let's start the tutorial on changing basic movements. What is basic movements? It is when our character moves backwards or forward, or when it jumps or crouches. First of all, when we work with our testing, we want to set our AI spawner to training dummy mode, so it won't distract us with attacks. Also, we can enable the 3D input if we want to build a full 3D game. And we also have such animations as moving left and right, or crouching and crouch moving left and right. Alright, and we may want to replace all these animations from the default ones to your preferred ones. And today we are going to do it for the character UE4 mannequin. Let's look how does it basically work. Our characters are stored under the TrueFGE demo characters folder, and we have this mannequin folder that contains a character blueprint that utilizes the UE4 skeletal mesh mannequin, or we can use it for any other UE4 skeleton mesh. And this mesh utilizes for its basic movement its own animation blueprint. The animation blueprint out of the box is located in this folder, Python animation. Here is the animation blueprint. And today we are going to do this quick and dirty way. The right way to replace these basic animations would be to either duplicate or create a child blueprint class for this animation blueprint, and then here at right you can change all the animations and blend spaces, but to do so you should first create your blend spaces. And if you are familiar with the animation blueprints, blend spaces, etc., it is not a difficult task. But today we are going to replace these animations in a more easy way. So how we are going to do it? These basic movements are stored under this fighting animations movement folder, and we see here a couple of blend spaces and all the basic movements: crouching, walking, etc., jumping. We will be deleting them one by one, and the editor will prompt us to replace the references with the new animations. And we will just replace the references, and the new animations will be replaced inside our animation blueprint and inside our blend spaces with the new ones. So I have already created a folder named Fighting Animations 2 and a subfolder named Movement, and I have already collected third-party animations related to movements. I used mainly Fighting Anim Set Pro, but also some animations from Close Combat Anim Set and Frank Fighting Set. Alright? But before we proceed, we see that all of these animations are assigned to UE4 skeleton, but to its instance that comes with the animation package, with the third-party animation package from the Epic Store. So we first need to reassign all these animations to the instance of the UE4 skeleton that comes with the true fighting game engine. To do so, we select all these animations with a shift click, and then we right click and we go to Asset Actions, and then we go to the bulk edit via property matrix. Right, and we search for skeleton, and we see that the current skeleton is from the game Fighting Anim Set Pro. I mean that third-party package that I have imported, and we need to change them. To do so, to change this skeleton to the native one for the TrueFGE. So we click this grid at the right, and we see this skeleton. In the pop-up window you see its path: game, TrueFGE, demo, mannequin UE4. It means it is what we want. And by the way, it is red. You know, the preview mesh is red, so it is easier to find it. Yeah, so we change it, and we go to File and Save. Right? And now all the animations were reassigned this native skeleton that comes with the true fighting game engine. And now we are ready to start replacing the animations one by one. You see we have a couple of blank spaces here. We don't touch them because when we will be replacing the animations, they will be automatically replaced inside the blank spaces and inside the animation blueprint. So let's start, and we see this crouched left mannequin UE4. Oh, by the way, when I have imported these new animations, just for convenience, I added a suffix new move UE4. Why is it convenient? Because when we search for animations, we can just type new and UE4, and the editor will suggest us these animations from this folder. So we go to the mannequin, its default fighting animations folder, movement, and let's start with this crouched left animation asset. Right click and delete. And you see the editor says, hey, it is used somewhere. Don't you want to replace it with a new animation instead of just deleting it? And yes, we do want. So here I just type UE4 new crouch left, and I select one of my new animations. Right? And I just hit this replace references, and I hit OK, and I save. And it has been deleted, that animation, and all its references has been replaced. Now we do the same for the crouched right, and we delete it. We look for UE4 new crouch right. And I select this one. And I replace references, OK, and save. And from time to time I save all, just in case the editor crashes. Alright, we basically don't want to touch this animation. You might play with this because it is used inside the animation blueprint when ragdoll mode is enabled, and it helps to do things properly. But you can play with this if you want, but I don't touch it now today. So now we have this idle animation, and we need to replace it as well. And I right click and delete, and we want to replace it, and I type UE4 new idle, and I actually have several idle animations just in case I don't like some of them. I change it later, and for now I just select the first one and I replace, and I hit OK, and I save. Great. Now we have this idle crouch, and we do the same again. Delete. And for the crouching, I also have two idle animations. Let's select this one, replace, OK, save. Great. Now we have this for loop. It is when our fighter is in the middle of a jump. And we delete it, and we search for new, but there is different naming, so the poll doesn't work. Let's search for jump. And we see this jump loop. It is the same as fallen, and I select this one. And I replace references, and I hit OK, and I save. Next, this jump animation is when our character starts jumping, and we replace it as well. Delete. And I select this jump start, and I replace, OK, save. Right? And we have this animation when the fighter is landing after a jump, and we also right click and delete, and we are searching for new landing, and I will select this one and hit replace and OK and save all. Right. Now we have this walk crouching backwards. Let's replace it as well, and we delete. and I search for UE4, U, crouch, walk backwards. And yes, I select this one and I replace. And I hit OK and save. Next one is walk crouching forward. Once again, right click, delete, UE4, U, crouch, and I select it, and I hit the replace references, and I hit OK and save. Now, next, we have the animation for walking left. Let's replace it as well. And I hit delete. And I look for UE4, new, left. And I actually have several options here because I imported several variations of walking animations. Let's try to replace this walking with ninja running left. And I replace it, and I hit OK, and I save. And now we have walk right, and we do the same. Delete. And I also want to replace it with that ninja run, but right this time. Ninja run right. And I replace, and I hit OK, and I save. And now we have two animation assets left, walking backwards and walking forward. So we right click the walking backwards, we delete, look for UE4, new, walk, walk backwards. And I select this one, I hit replace and OK and save. And the last one is for our walking forward. I delete. By the way, I have two variations for walking forward animation. Just in case I don't like one, I may later change it to the second one. And for now, I select this one, and I replace, and I hit OK, and I save selected. And you know, it is basically it. It has replaced all the animations inside our blend spaces. Right? And it has also replaced all the animations in our main animation blueprint. We save all. Let's now run the game. Look at this. And yes, it works. You see it runs instead of the default movement when he was just walking left and right. So we have basically placed all the basic movements. Alright, and it now will be logical to drag this animation blueprint and drop it to our fighting animations 2 folder, because it is now related to our new movements, basic movements, and it works. Alright, but what if we wanted to restore the initial animations? It's pretty easy, because we actually have the same blueprint for our UE5 skeleton, and we can just retarget it with all its animations back to UE4. So let's go to TrueFGE, Demo, Characters, Queen, Fighting Animations. Right-click this animation blueprint for the Queen UE5. Retarget animation assets, duplicate and retarget animation blueprint. And in our IK retargeter, we select RTG UE5 many to UE4 many. And here we would select our Queen mesh. And let's change the folder. Let's select the TrueFGE, Demo, Characters, Mannequin, and let's save that all to our initial movement folder, where we have just deleted all the animations from. Alright? And just in case if there's something named UE5 in the names of animations, let's place it to UE4. I'm not sure, but just in case. And click Retarget. Alright. And we save all. And you see this animation blueprint. And we just get it and drag to the root fighting animations folder. And this is that old basic moveset that we have just deleted. And we can check it by going to Mannequin, opening its blueprint, its character blueprint, and we select the mesh. How is it named? The animation blueprint. Oh, we should rename it. You see it is named Queen UE4, but it's not actually Queen. Let's delete the Queen. So it is now UE4 3D, and at the end let's add 1. Alright? And now here, so we select the mesh, we go to the animation mode, it is use animation blueprint, and here we should select that blueprint. The easiest way is to select it here, and we just press this little arrow here, and we save and compile. Let's run the game, and you see our old animations are restored. In the next videos we will add attacks and attack combos with different buttons. And now we can also, by the way, we can get our new movement animation blueprint and also retarget it to the UE5 skeleton. So we can use it with Queen or with any other UE5 characters, UE5 based characters. So let's select this Queen folder, create a new folder and name it Fighting Animations 2 as well. And we will create a subfolder named movement. All right. And from our mannequin UE4, from fighting animations 2, we will just retarget this new animation blueprint to the UE5 skeleton. So we right click, retarget animation assets, duplicate and retarget animation blueprint. All right. And we select RTG UE4 many to UE5 many. And here we would better select the Queen mesh. And we should change the folder TrueFGE, demo, characters, Queen, fighting animations to movement. All right. And what we are going to do, we should also replace UE4 in our names of our assets to UE5. All right, just for clarity, so we don't get mistaken when we are searching for them in the future. And we click retarget and we save all. And all right, you see it has retargeted the blank spaces. And here's our new animation blueprint. And we will rename it from mannequin UE5 to Queen UE5. All right. And we will drop it to this fighting animations 2 folder just for clarity, so we have it here. So now we have two animation blueprints, two different animation blueprints for the UE5 skeleton. And we can use any of them for different characters based on UE5 skeleton. All right, and in the next video we will create some new attacks and some attack sets and some hit sets and attack combos when you press several buttons one after one. So the next video should be pretty interesting. And now let's check how this new animation blueprint works for UE5 skeleton. Look, we also have a many UE5 character. Let's open its blueprint. And in our content drawer, we select our new animation blueprint. And for the mesh of our SKM money, we just click this little arrow to apply that new animation blueprint. And we save and compile. Now, let's set the money to be our primary character. If you don't know how to do that, please refer to my tutorial on adding new characters. There is explained everything about this, but I will show this one more time here. We just need to go to the TrueFGE blueprints and find the blueprint named BP TrueFGE game mode. And here In this node, we just change the mannequin UE4 to many. That is a unique name of our character, of one of our character, and we save and we compile and we run the game. So you may see that while the queen at the right still utilizes the old moveset, the many utilizes the new one. You see, it runs, etc. Alright, so it works. And that's it for today. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to write comments below this video. And see you next time. Goodbye.